Announcing the commencement of the first purge.
I want you to change the world, and don't think that this is going to happen peacefully or you can do it alone. We need to kill the rich. You get out there, you use your weapons, and you rip Washington apart. You hunt down the billionaires, the bank bosses, the CEOs, the scumbags and the liars, the governors, the lobbyists, the senators, because they're all the same, and you hang them.
Just remember all the good the purge does.
Good morning, everyone. It's June 5th, 2018. I am Eric. I'm here at DC Clothesline. I'm going to talk about Agenda 2030 in this video. It'll be, it won't be the whole article here, but the key points. Getting a little bit of a late start today. My videos are going to be coming out at random times now. I'm filling in for somebody, and I have to work second shift. So what is Agenda 2030? We've all heard of Agenda 21. Agenda 2030 isn't quite so familiar. It emphasizes gender and racial equality, eradication of poverty, and the total abolition of violence and hate. How are they gonna eradicate violence and hate? Hate is an emotion. Violence is what hate leads to. It lays out that the future world is based entirely on these goals, and that the only way to achieve these things is through sustainable development and control of climate change. Oh, and the planet will also be totally poverty-free by 2030 as well. Here are a few of the important points they've adopted. It actually came into effect on January of 2016. Its full title is Transforming Our World, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The area covered by the agenda are people, planet, prosperity, peace, and partnership. The 17 goals and 169 targets of the agenda seek to build on the Millennium Development Goals and complete those that were not achieved. The declaration agreed upon at the United Nations meeting in New York has 53 points. Point 2 sets the tone. On behalf of the people we serve, we adopt a historic decision on a comprehensive, far-reaching, and people-centered set of universal and transformative goals and targets. We commit ourselves to working tirelessly for the full implementation of this agenda by 2030. Points 5, 18, and 28, and particularly point 29, are interesting. Now, in theory, it's wonderful. Rainbows and unicorns for everyone. Now, we all saw The Matrix, I'm pretty sure. I recall the part where Smith is talking to Morpheus, and he's talking about how they had a perfect world, and people kept waking up from this perfect world because we cannot function in such a world. I believe that to be true. I don't think people are capable of living completely peacefully. Let me see where oh yeah. It's repetitive in the extreme, constantly pointing out the sanctity of sovereign nations and saying these issues apply to every single person on the planet. So, they're going to be focused on people, planet, prosperity. They want to eradicate poverty. And on the surface, it sounds like a great thing. I would like to not be poor. But as far as I know, it takes a lot of hard work, a lot of tireless work, if you're not born into money, to become very rich. And what they actually want is for everyone to be poor, except for certain individuals. You know, individuals like Bill Gates, Ted Turner, Donald Trump, and so on and so forth. So, point 15, 18, and, oh yeah, I already did that one. So how does a 2030 agenda morph into the arrival of a one world government? Excuse me. And that's simple. It is entirely impossible to achieve what they have laid out without a one world government. The New World Order we have heard so much about over the last few years. This is what they are stating will be achieved by 2030, with all countries somehow miraculously retaining their own culture, resources, and economies. Total eradication of hunger across the planet. Well, if they actually wanted to do that, it could be done now. I mean, just think about the trillions of dollars used to wage war. That money could be used to eradicate hunger across the planet. The total eradication of race inequality across the planet. Now, this is where the white people purge would probably apply. Because after all, everything is the white man's fault. Everything. And a lot of people hold the view the only way to achieve equality is to rid the planet of white people. Total eradication of poverty across the planet. And again, you can eradicate hunger across the planet easily, but eradicating poverty, not so easy, considering some people just don't have the motivation to get up and bust their ass every day to achieve whatever goal they have in mind. A lot of people cannot take delayed gratification. They won't do work now for a payoff in the future. So, eradicating poverty is not going to happen unless you know, there's not very many people left on the planet. And it's entirely possible that's how they'll achieve equality. Total eradication of gender inequality across the planet. total eradication of war across the planet, total eradication of malaria and other mosquito-borne diseases, total eradication of TB, a set of standard of education for every child on the planet, clean water and sanitation for every person on the planet. That one's not achievable. Malaria, the eradication of malaria, maybe. The eradication of war will never happen. Okay, a decent job for every worker on the planet. What do they mean by decent? Because decent to me is a job where you can support every member of your household and still have money left over. If you can't do that, then you're not in a decent job. Sustainable economic growth in every country on the planet. Sustainable agriculture across the planet. Sustainable livestock production across the planet. Well, here's the thing about agriculture. Agriculture is dying. There is no agriculture. It is the crops are beginning, or have begun, I shouldn't say beginning, have begun having terrible yields as a result of, too much rain, not enough rain, it being colder than it should have been for the month of May. And there's all kinds of reasons why crops are failing, and those are just the top ones. So we're going to have to switch to indoor growing and vertical farming, because our climate is changing, and it's changing quickly. No, I'm not a climate alarmist. I'm not fucking Al Gore. Oh man, I almost made it through a whole video without saying fucking. Oh well. But we should recognize what's going on. I'm not saying that you or I are responsible for it, but it's still an issue. A reduction in natural resource use in every country on the planet, a reduction in greenhouse gas emissions in every industrialized nation, a reduction in flood and drought events in susceptible locations around the world. Not really sure what they're meant by that. So, there are other odds and ends they have thrown in, but the bottom line is that they intend for all of these things to be done by the year 2030. Is that even possible? Let's see here. The United States is supposed to only have 100 million people by 2025. It probably, a lot of that stuff is possible, except they're going to have to force all these other countries into doing this. There are barely half a dozen countries on the planet that can engage in conversation without some disagreement. They honestly expect us to believe that there will be enough international cooperation while retaining national sovereignty to achieve even one goal on that list. And they list here, so the Islamic State will be our friends. Well, they're already our friends. They're already funded by our government, aren't they? India will give water to Pakistan. North and South Korea will kiss and make up. Iran will stop making nuclear bombs, which there's no evidence that they are. Israel and Palestine will finally shake hands and sort out their differences. Right. Achieving any of those goals on that list is impossible unless one single government calls the shots and enforces conditions whereby the goals become available or achievable. That means the removal of sovereign status for individual nations. It means one giant money pot made up of cash from every nation that has cash to finance these initiatives. Globalism just took on a whole new meaning. Anyway, I know it's a little bit of an old topic, but we need to revisit these topics from time to time because they're still there, they're still being worked on, and they are still detrimental to us. So anyway, I hope you all have a good day. Remember, kill the state before the state kills you.